Well, I love how technology really helps the whole health and wellness side as well. We're going to talk about a cool percussive massage therapy device. You might have seen their commercials on TV or online. It's for those Theraguns. They look kind of like little massage guns.
They look like something out of a sci-fi movie.
Yes.
That would shoot lasers.
But in this case here, it's helping your muscles. We've got our good friend Ted Kritsonos on the line from Toronto, and he's had a chance to actually try them out, and we're going to get his thoughts on it. Thanks for joining us, Ted.
Always glad to be here, guys.
So I've seen these commercials a number of times, and it looks cool. So we would love to get your thoughts today on it. Explain to the listeners how this thing works and kind of what it looks like.
Well, first of all, I described it in my review as a cross between a power drill and a kitchen mixer. When you look at this thing and then you see how it works, those are like the two things that kind of come to mind, and there's a reason for that too, because there is a significant amount of power here. Like you have, there are two settings. So there's a fast setting and then there's a slow setting. So the fast setting has basically, 40 percussive thrusts per second. The slower one has 29, and this is 60 pounds of force that is pushing that arm forward, right? So it's a pretty powerful device, and you can kind of see it when you look at the videos online. They do them in slow motion in some cases too, and you just see the way the muscles just like it's like sound waves, just kind of flapping, and so. The device is now. I reviewed the G3Pro, so I reviewed the top of the line model. There are 3 different models that Theragun offers. The one I reviewed is the best one, but there are 2 that are also lower priced. There are some differences between them, but because I haven't tried those ones, I don't know exactly how different they would be as far as the operations and the results would be. So that being said, basically the concept here is that you have 6 different attachment tips. They are different designs, and the idea is that you would be able to really hone in on wherever the pain point is, or maybe you have a knot, maybe you have, you're sore after a run, whatever it is that you have, you can kind of hone in with the right tip, and sort of the right cadence, not cadence, but I guess the right amount of pressure, when you apply it.
Ted, I have to ask you, because I've had a chance to try this out. Is it safe? Like, could you hurt yourself with this thing?
Well, you got to be careful, right? Because I'm sure as you tried it too, you saw how powerful it is.
It is super powerful.
It's loud, right? It's loud too. Like so it's.
You're not doing this on the bus,
no.
Yeah, no. So you got to be a little careful with this thing, and that's why the app is actually really good. Even though the app doesn't have video tutorials, the photos and the written component is actually quite good at laying out what you should and shouldn't do, especially how, where you should focus your efforts on the body, depending on what it is that you're trying to help with. So in that regard, as long as you follow the guidelines, then you should be okay. And then naturally, of course, you just know your own body. So if you feel like, oh, that's a little bit too much pressure, you can always just, lay off a little bit. And you don't need a lot of pressure with this thing. I mean, you really don't. But given the power that it has, you don't need to apply too much pressure. And as long as you're using the right tip, you should be able to at least feel some sort of a positive result from it.
Ted, do you think this is something that is best done like to your own self, or is it better to have a friend or a partner do it to you? Because it does look like it could be kind of tricky to get around to some of the, like on my back, I have one specific knot that it's really difficult for me to get to. So I wonder if that would make more sense for my girlfriend to use the tool there, or is this something that you've experienced using yourself and sort of doing some back yoga?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, so definitely there are going to be some parts of the body that are going to be tough to get to. Even though the arm is adjustable, you can go 90 degrees up to 180 degrees. Despite that, it's still not easy to get at certain spots, especially on the back. So there are going to be certain times where I think applying it to you would be better. In some cases, even if you want to go to your physiotherapist or your chiropractor, maybe bring the device with you and show them, and then perhaps they can also provide their own insight on how you can maybe use it, especially if you don't have someone who lives with you that can help you out. But yeah, for the most part, you can do it yourself. You will be able to hit most spots yourself, but there are going to be some areas, especially on the shoulders and the back, that are going to be a little tougher to get to. So you are right. There are going to be certain times when having a person handy will certainly be helpful.
Well, it is interesting. I let one of the gentlemen in our office here try it out as well, and he loves it. He had a few knots that he's developed over the years, from a lot of exercise and sports and running, and he said it works so well. So I'm anxious to try it out a little bit more myself. The price on these things aren't cheap, Ted.
No, they're not. No, they're not. The model I tested is $759 plus tax, so it's not cheap. And that's why I wanted to make sure that I prefaced even the pricing in that this is not a replacement for a chiropractor or physiotherapist or massage therapist. This is not going to emulate entirely what well-trained hands can do, but it can complement what they do. And further to that, it has the possibility of reducing the frequency in which you visit the specialist. So I would never advise, as I did in the review, that you look at this as a full-on replacement, that you're spending all this money. It's like, okay, great, I'm never going to have to go back there again. That's not the case. It's not going to supplant that kind of human feedback, but it certainly can help. And it is a big price to pay, right? I mean, it's a lot to pay, but I guess it depends on how much better you feel. Will it feel like it paid itself off based on you feeling better every day? Hard to say because everybody's body is subjective.
We're talking with Ted Krotsonos, one of our favorite tech journalists from Toronto, all about the Theragun. I know you tried out the top-end model, and I believe that one comes with a lot more attachments, but I believe they do start in the few $100 range as well.
Yeah, they have a couple different tiers, and it looks like the low end one is about $499 Canadian, and I believe that they've had almost perma sales on some of those things on Amazon and stuff like that too.
Well, if you're interested in finding out more about this, don't forget to hit our website, getconnectedmedia.com. We've got Ted's review up there so you can read it for yourself. But overall, Ted, thumbs up, thumbs down?
No, thumbs up. I mean, I like the approach they took, and I like also that they focus on certain things. Like there's actually one section called Tech Neck. So if you're working in an office and you're looking at a computer like the three of us are oftentimes, during the day, there is a section on how to use the device to offset that, right? Carpal tunnel, plantar fasciitis, some of the things that a lot of people suffer from. There are sections in the app that display and demonstrate how you can use the device to offset those things.
Ted, I want to thank you for joining us today.
Always a pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me.